Hey kidlets! So I wanted to just do a few questions from the grade 9 K6 just so you can see what my expectations are. Now you're noticing that I have a piece of paper. Well, not really. It's a digital piece of paper, but I'm having there will be too many steps to be able to do this in your head. Okay? And on your test you're going to have to show me all of your steps. You can't just put in an answer at the end of the day, because then you could have just plunked that into your calculator. But the mathematics is in the actual showing of your steps. So before I begin, I'm just going to write down BEDMAS, and I'm going to start this question here. So 1 squared minus, and whenever I have a negative number, like this one here is -8, I'm just going to put it in brackets, because for me it kind of sections it off really nice. Alright. So 1 squared minus -8. So we don't have any actual operations in brackets. Now here, if you wanted to change this negative beside a negative into a positive, that's fine with me. But there are no actual operations that we need to do in the bracket, so we can just skip it. Exponents, we have one. 1 to the power of 2 is just 1 minus -8. We don't have to worry about division, there is none. We don't have to worry about multiplication, there is none. But let's deal with this adding and subtracting bit. 1 minus -8 is going to be 1 plus 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay, so let's punch in 9 here into our answer. Let's submit it. Woo! Well done! They gave me another one. Woohoo! So I can either write the BEDMAS again, or I can just keep on going beside it like I did in my other video. 1 squared plus -6. So nothing in the brackets. We have exponents. 1 squared is just 1 plus -6. Don't worry about division. Don't worry about multiplication. We have this adding and subtracting thing again. Negative beside a positive becomes subtraction. 1 minus 6. 1 minus 6 is going to be -5. So we'll put that in as our answer here. -5. Submit. Good work. Okay, let's try this one. So 4 squared plus -6. We have no brackets, we have an exponent. 4 squared is 16 plus -6. Don't worry about division, there's no multiplication. There is the adding and subtracting thing that we need to deal with. 16 plus -6 is going to be 16 minus 6, which is 10. So here's a bit more of a spicier meatball. So this is -4 squared plus -10. So there's nothing in the brackets. We do have exponents. -4 times -4, or -4 squared, is going to be 16. Remember, because the base is -4 plus -10. No division, no multiplication. We need the adding and subtracting. 16 plus -10 becomes 16 minus 10. 16 minus 10 is simply 6. Woohoo! Here's one that deals with division. So, BEDMAS. -3 divided by 1 to the power of 2. So there are no brackets, there are exponents. So the next step would be -3 divided by 1, because 1 squared is 1. There is division. -3 divided by 1 is simply -3. No multiplication, no addition, no subtraction. So my answer here is going to be -3. Now I really like this next question because it's a bit of a spicy meatball. I like to be able to go over some more difficult questions when on some of these videos. So I'm just going to rewrite the question. Negative 7 minus 2 to the power of 3 plus 9. Now when you're seeing in the brackets here we have subtraction and we have exponents. So when we go into the brackets we kind of go through the EDMAS part of BEDMAS. We still have to, the rules of order of operations still adhere or still apply to what's in the brackets. So first things first, we have negative 7 minus 2 to the power of 3. We need to deal with the exponents. Negative 7 minus 8, because 2 to the power of 3 is 8, plus 9. Negative 7 minus 8, so this is still just dealing with the stuff in the brackets. Negative 7 minus 8 is negative 15 plus 9, and I've dropped the brackets because we don't need them. Negative 15 plus 9 is going to be negative 6. Now here's another bit of a spicy meatball. We have BEDMAS. Negative 1 to the power of 3 times negative 8. And I'm just holding all the negatives in brackets. Divided by negative 1. Now we can't hold things in brackets. We have to pay very attention to what the base is. So just be careful about that. So are there any operations in the brackets? Nope. We do have exponents though. Negative 1 to the power of 3 is still going to be negative 1 times negative 8 divided by negative 1. So we do have division and we have multiplication, but remember we have to move from left to right. So we have to do negative 1 times 8 divided by negative 1. So my next step here, negative 8 times, negative 1 times negative 8 is going to be 8 divided by negative 1. 8 divided by negative 1 is going to be negative 8. Now you didn't have to step it out like that. Like really you could have just shown this and then gone to this end part. But if you are prone to making silly little mistakes, I would make sure that you would write that step out. So let's put in this answer here. We have negative 8. Good. Now, I really like this question here because it has the subtraction and it has the division. And what I like about this is it has the subtraction first. So people are more likely actually to do the subtraction before we do the division here. So I really, really like this question, especially to do on a video like this. So here's where it gets really tricky. Negative 6 minus negative 4, because this right here is, there is a negative right there. So squared divided by, and I'm just going to put this in brackets, negative 4. So brackets, there's nothing really to do in the brackets because there are no operations there. Exponents, heck yes there is. So negative, the next line would be negative 6 minus negative 4 squared is going to be positive 16. I'm just going to put a bracket because I like holding things in brackets. Divided by negative 4. So I'm going to say 16. I could either say negative 16 divided by negative 4, or I could say 16 divided by negative 4. Doesn't matter which one, but I'm going to do 16 divided by negative 4 because the next step is division. So negative 6 minus 16 divided by negative 4 is going to be negative 4. There's no multiplication, and now we need to deal with the adding and subtraction. So the next step here would be to make sure that we rewrite two negatives beside each other, create a positive. So it becomes negative 6 plus 4. Negative 6 plus 4 is going to be negative 2. I'm going to put in my answer here as negative 2. Woohoo! I got it right. So I'm going to stop here. So make sure that you go through and do a lot of questions in here, because you're noticing that I got to 64, and that's when the questions that that are a little bit more challenging come up. So make sure that you you try this out right up to 80 or 85. But if you make it your goal to get 100 and everything, you do that.